What are you doing each time to make those things happen? And then align your tools with your process. And if you're realizing that your tool isn't helping you in that process, like get another tool.
Hey, my Feel Good friend, and welcome to the Feel Good Social podcast. I'm your host, Kinsey, and I'm going to say it. I absolutely love today's guest. Erin is just a super awesome woman. Ugh, I love her so much, but she's also a Feel Good Social clubber, extra brownie points, and an OBM, online business manager for creative entrepreneurs. In today's episode, not only does Erin share her journey in entrepreneurship, we talk about selling, we talk about pivoting, especially during uncertain times and all that different stuff, but we also totally geek out about systems, workflows, backend processes, organizing your to-do list and all of your things, streamlining, all those different buzzwords that some people might be bored by it. But if you're an online business owner, you probably are yes, please give me all the secrets to organizing all of my digital crap and all of the back end stuff of my business, because it's something we all go through, right? So Erin is not only sharing her favorite tips for starting to streamline your processes and organize your workflows, how to give yourself an audit, right? Which is awesome. But we're also geeking out about different softwares, and she's telling us a little bit about her preferred software of choice, ClickUp, which I am fairly new to. So it's a super fun combo. I know you're going to love it. If you do, make sure that you tell a friend who could also use to listen to this episode, and or share this episode to your Instagram stories. And make sure that you tag both of us. I'm at Feel Good Social. Erin is at Lunamai Strategy. We would love to see it. And if you tag us, we can totally reshare it and spread the love right back to you. Okay, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this awesome conversation with this awesome woman. Hey, friend, and welcome to the Feel Good Social podcast. I'm your host, Kinsey, and I'm here to help you market your business in a genuine way that works without wasting your precious time. On this show, we chat about social media strategy and mindset tips with a focus on, you guessed it, feeling good. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some genuine conversation for the good of your biz. Real quick, have I invited you to join the Feel Good Social Club yet? Oh man, my friend, I would love for you to check out our new monthly membership for down-to-earth entrepreneurs who are ready to create content with ease, actually show up and strategically market your business online every month, and also make friends with rad down-to-earth entrepreneurs who are just like you, who get it, who are in the posting trenches with you, and who are ever ready to give you a friendly air high five or kick in the accountability booty whenever you need it. The Feel Good Social Club is where it is at. Check it out, feelgoodsocial.com/club. In the club, we have a content library full of Canva templates and tutorials and resources to help you make content creation as easy as possible. We also have monthly content planning workshops where we all come together and talk about the upcoming month's strategy for our content. And we also have community forums where you can get together, ask questions of other club members, brainstorm ideas, ask for feedback. So definitely check it out, feelgoodsocial.com/club. Our Feel Good members are seriously some of the most amazing people that I have ever met. And I would love for you to join us, feelgoodsocial.com/club. Check it out. Join today. We would love to see you in there, my friend. All right, let's dive back into today's episode. Hi, Erin. I am so excited to bring you on the Feel Good Social podcast, lady. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yes. Well, I already did introduce you just a little bit in the intro, but I'd love to hear from you. Who are you? What do you do? And who do you serve?
Sure. I'm Erin Taylor. My company's Lunamai Strategy and System Design, and I am an OBM for website designers specializing in ClickUp.
Yes. And I can't wait to talk to you about this because, well, as you know, I'm an Airtable nerd, but I've had a lot of people recommend ClickUp to me. And also my business coach, who I create content for as well, uses ClickUp. And so I usually go into ClickUp and I'm like, this looks really cool, but I still am not really understanding what this. So I cannot wait for you to just explain everything to us and tell us how we need to be organizing our business in the best way so that we're not wasting time and all that stuff. But I always kind of like to ask people, how did you get started doing what you do? And what has your entrepreneurship journey looked like so far?
Wow. So my entrepreneurship journey is very short at this point. I did the whole college right into the corporate life and spent, I think, 11 years total doing that. And so I was an IT project manager, which really gave me insight onto how to manage projects, how to manage people, timelines, all of that stuff that I'm now using in my own business. So it really got to the point where I was just frustrated with the corporate life and decided, let's try something new. So I quit my job in January 2020 to figure it out. And then, so it's been a crazy couple of years with the pandemic thrown in there. I wasn't expecting, but it made me really focus on getting out on social media more than I definitely would have if that hadn't happened. I was going to go the whole in-person networking event route, and that clearly didn't happen. So yeah, and then a lot of changes has happened along the way. I think entrepreneurship is just a big learning experience and trying things out and not considering yourself a failure, but just learning over and over and over again and making changes as needed.
Oh, I'll feel you on that, lady. And also cannot wait to get into specifics of that, because I think that everyone goes through that stuff. And it's so good to hear each other's stories, to not only you be empowered by those changes and pivots and stuff, but then also allow other people to be I'm not alone. And also change can be good, even though it's scary. But I kind of want to ask you just a little bit more about the corporate world and then transitioning into owning your own business and stuff. And yeah, what a probably freaky time to have started your business. And then 2-3 months later, the pandemic hits and you're what the heck is going on in the world? Did you think about possibly quitting at that point, or were you nope, we're going for it?
No. So I was a terrible point in my corporate career. I was overworked, undervalued. I'd been thinking about quitting for a year. And actually that's when we started our Airbnb, because I was going to drop this, corporate paycheck, and it made me feel very insecure. And we figured out that we could start an Airbnb, which in Charleston, South Carolina, there's always tourists, right? That's going to help supplement. And so again, the pandemic just knocked out, but it was really, I got to the point where it was really so terrible that there was no turning back. And, for me, I know a lot of people kind of start their own business while they're still working in another job and kind of do that hand in hand until they're ready to quit. And I just didn't have the capacity or bandwidth to do that. So I basically saved some money and said, okay, I've got some time to do this before I feel like I have to go back. And so I stuck with it. I'm definitely going to admit the summer 2020, I had moments where I was it would be really nice to collect a paycheck while sitting here, not able to travel for work and not able to do all those projects and have a pretty sweet life. But it wasn't worth the stress and mental health issues that were happening because of that job.
Yeah. And seriously too, it's I've been in that spot where I'm yearning for reminiscing on the past life of I actually don't have any corporate experience in my entire life. I was in the service industry. I'm oh yeah, walking out with cash every day. How great would that be? All these different things. But still, I always remind myself of even if you would have stayed at your corporate job, there still would have been that uncertainty, all the layoffs, all these different things and stuff. And so good for you for sticking with it. Cause I know it's to be in that scary moment and be oh, breathe, we're here in this present moment. So I love too that you're I'm just going to, save up some money and I'm just going to go for it. And weren't trying to start your business and do that at the same time. How did you go about then getting clients, especially after not being able to do the networking that you wanted to do and all that stuff?
Yeah. So a lot of it was networking, but fully. So I met a lot of people, and a lot of local groups actually went virtual, which was nice. So I got to do that. And then a lot of smaller based groups had online meetings where I met a lot of people. And so all of my clients have come through those type of groups of networking there. And that's been great. So it's been a slow progression. I think gosh, I really hate when you get online and you feel if you don't make $10,000 in a month in your first year, you're a failure. And that's so detrimental to your journey, because it's not well, maybe for some people, but usually not that fast. And so I think it's important to hear that it's this slow progression. It's the fact that I have multiple sources of income that's making me feel good about this slow progression and not doing anything that I'll later regret, to make that money or to bring on clients.
Yeah, I know. There's like, because I feel like too, we all hit that spot where it's like, wait, what am I doing wrong? Like no one talks about like the full big journey. They're just like, this happened and this happened and this happened. And I mean, I think a lot of people do resonate with that sort of thing where it's like they're like, oh, this expert, like 100K in 1 month. I saw a lady post that on their Instagram profile letter. It's like, okay, like eye roll, but I don't resonate with that. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't feel realistic to me, So thanks for bringing that up too. Cause I definitely feel that where it's like, and I'm also not like, I don't know, I'm not super money motivated for whatever reason. So there's all these like, people online being like, 5K months and like 10K months and 100K in your first year and all this stuff. And I'm like, that just doesn't do it for me, man.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing that with me. And I totally forgot that you guys Airbnb your place. Like, hell yeah, we still need to have a conversation about that at some point. But when it came to like selling and stuff, like actually like showing up and being like, oh, do you want to work together or anything like that with people you're networking with? Like, how did that feel for you? Because I hated it. That was one of the biggest things I had to overcome. I'm like, I'm here and stuff. And it felt like
so awkward.
Yeah, so bad. Do you feel like your corporate experience like gave you a little confidence or do you think it was like different?
No, I feel like it's taken me time. It's taken me time to accept that my corporate experience is relevant online because I had that mental thing that I was like, well, I haven't been an online entrepreneur. So, I don't know about people buying things from me. And it's definitely taken time for me to realize like, yeah, that experience matters. And it's just because I'm doing it in a different way doesn't mean I still don't have the skill set that will sell. But yeah, selling is so awkward for me. I find it's gotten easier. I guess it's gotten easier because of those just mental hurdles that you eventually have to get over of, I am offering something of value. I can help people improve their business and thinking more on that lines instead of being like, here's how much I would like you to pay me, because that's just awkward. So I think it's all about practice and making the conversation more casual because I feel like going into something feeling like you have to do this very structured sales call or like, I don't know. For me, it just doesn't feel authentic. And so I found it much easier when I go in and just talk to the person and let them know if I think I can help or not.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad we got down this train of conversation because I feel the same. Firstly, I'm so glad that you shared about you feeling like a little bit more nervous because the corporate experience, you didn't have the online entrepreneurship experience and stuff. And that's just so funny to me because I kind of almost felt the opposite in the way, although I didn't really have the online experience either, but we make it happen. But there is such a difference. That was a total shift for me too, when it came to like selling is like not making it about the selling, making it about the value that you're offering. And like, just like, whenever I go to have a conversation with someone who I'd love to work with, I always have to like pump myself up and be like, Kins, like, this isn't about you making the sale. This is about you having a conversation and seeing like, is this someone who I can help? Is this someone who we can work together? And then making it more casual, like, I guess giving myself permission to bring up the Feel Good Social Club or bring up the social map or bring up my one-on-one offers, like, just like, if it feels natural, and just like mentioning it like that. Cause I feel like sometimes I used to like avoid it completely. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, you're wondering like, well, is it going to ruin this conversation if I suddenly just drop that I have this thing that will help you? But that's what people are here for. Is
I know. Oh my gosh. Yes, we're so silly, our minds. But it's a process that we all have to work through. And so I think it's good to like talk about it like this. But I would love to talk to you about the pivots that have happened in your business since you started, because I know that there's been quite a few. So what has this looked like then for you, like going through this journey of pivoting through your business and stuff?
Yeah. So for my A-type personality, my control freak in me, it's been terrible. But it's been such a great learning experience for me to kind of just let go of the fact that nothing is going to be perfect the first time. It's probably never going to be perfect at all. So just to go with that and think of it all as an experiment and then evaluate and move forward. So, I started, I think, gosh, there's been so many offers, I feel like, over the last 2 years, but I think I just started like, I'll just set up any project management tool you want, no matter whatever you do, So there was no niching down, no nothing, which I've learned very quickly is not the right way to go. And so that's been a process all in itself. And then realizing that really the people that I want to work with aren't looking for just straight up ClickUp setup. And while I wasn't offering that, it wasn't very clear on what I was offering, how that helped people. So really my last pivot has gone into, I'm still doing a lot of what my previous offer was, but now in a retainer format that people understand in an online space. So not only helping with ClickUp and time management and team management and client management, and that in people's brains, I think just makes more sense than OBM than me trying to do a roundabout way of not doing a retainer because it seemed scary to me. So that's where we are. It's all a learning experience, I think. And I'm sure things will change again, but that's life.
Yeah. Oh, so many awesome lessons that we do all go through. Seriously. And I know it's so funny. Everyone has to go through that process of learning that niching down is actually better.
It's like all you hear too, but we refuse to do it.
Okay. But let me throw this at you. Cause this is something you know me, I just listen to podcasts in the shower while I'm walking my dogs. And I just have all these ideas that I'm mulling over in my head, wonder if this is but I think that there's some lessons in life that we can learn from other people. And there's also some lessons in life that we have to go through ourselves before it actually hits them. And I'm wondering if niching down is one of those things, right? Because you're right. Everyone talks about niching down, but I think that through the process of creating multiple offers and trying multiple avenues, you get to your ideal niching situation faster, right? Versus if you niche down in the beginning and then you feel like you almost have to backtrack if it ends up not being the right niching down path for you. You know what I'm trying to say?
And no, it's definitely one of those lessons I feel like most people, 90% of entrepreneurs, have to go through themselves. And I think maybe that's the type of people that would start a business, or people that are like, no, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to figure it out my way.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh, personality nerd over here. Wait, have we talked about the Enneagram yet?
I'm a 3 with a 2 wing.
Oh, yes, you did just say that. Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. I love that. I'm a 7. I don't know what my wing is. I'm kind of a control freak, anxiety, manager too sometimes.
So you'll probably be an 8.
I don't know.
With an 8.
Maybe I go back. I don't know. I go back and forth. I do resonate with my 6 friends, but at the same time, sometimes I'm the person who's like, okay, deep breath, guys.
Well, and you can go both ways, I guess, on good days and bad days.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay.
I'm not an expert, but this is what I remember from it.
This is totally how I talk about Enneagram with people. Because I'm I don't really know what I'm talking about, but let's talk about it. Oh gosh, I love this. And then you learned, I love the second lesson that you brought up in your journey through business and stuff is learning, after niching down, okay, this is what I'm really good at. This is what I want to really offer and focus on. But how can I present this to my ideal clients in a way that they understand and they say, hell yes to it, right? Because this is something too that is so important that people don't realize, especially when they're in the middle of their business. And this is the same when it comes to selling and promotional messaging and stuff too, right? Often if you're launching a course or a new offer or something, people are here's what you get, buy from me. But really what you need to do is get into your ideal customer's shoes and think what makes sense to them? How can I present this to them in a way that makes sense and stuff? And that's hard for us to do sometimes when we're in the middle of our business and we're you get this, to take ourselves outside of that. So what was that shift there? Can you remind us again? You went from offering straight up ClickUp systems to now offering more of the holistic picture OBM management stuff.
Yep, exactly. And I think as far as messaging is concerned, I feel at least for me, in my mind, I'm analytical. I want to know all the details, all the tech. And my ideal client does not care. Most of them do not care about that. It's like, what's the result? Right. And I think that applies to a lot of businesses, but we're so in it that we're like, of course that they would want to know all of this detail and they don't. So that's been a learning process for me, is to write something and then be like, okay, now does anyone else except me care about all of this? And let's reframe what I'm saying. So ongoing process there. But also for some reason in my head, retainer was a very dirty word. And I couldn't get my head around it. And so I think that's what took me so long to go from offering a project-based, basically 4-month retainer to now an ongoing monthly retainer. And I think, nobody explains all the options when you become an entrepreneur, right? It's like, you got to figure it out yourself. There's no, Google's great, but it doesn't give all the answers. And that journey of realizing that you can offer whatever you want, and it's all about to the boundaries you put in place around it. And for me, retainer was nerve-wracking because of boundaries. And so going through the process of re-pivoting what I'm going to offer, I wrote down like, this is a do column and this is a no column. And those are the boundaries I'm keeping for myself to make sure that this is a good relationship for both sides.
Yeah. I love this because it's so true. Because when you said that, I was like, wait, retainer is a dirty word for you. Like, this is something a little bit new that I haven't really thought. But when you explain it like that, it totally makes sense and hits home for me. Cause it's like, not like feeling like it's this endless thing, maybe, and like, that's a little scary. What if you end up with like a client and it's like, I would much rather it's easier to set guidelines, expectations, boundaries for like a project-based versus like the ongoing monthly, depending on how your brain is. So totally makes sense for me. And boundaries, once again, a theme of entrepreneurship. I started out with like the client that, like, bless her heart, both of us had to learn boundaries together, but it was like, what is a boundary? Texting me at 10 p.m., and then me feeling like I need to show up and like this, it's almost a scarcity thing too, right? A fear thing. And oh man, like once I set boundaries, like I really don't like get back to, like, once I take the urgency out of my business, like you really can't expect a response back from me, like with like 24 hours, is the thing. Like, and, sometimes it's a couple days, and like my clients understand that now. And once you can, like, it's scary to set the boundaries, but once you can do that, it makes everyone more relaxed, I think. So, like it not only helps you to take like the anxiety, nervousness, urgency out of your business, but also like the client in that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny. We all do it with our own business, but then it's like that reminder that I go, okay, am I a surgeon in a hospital? No. So it's not a life or death situation. It's not really that important in the grand scheme of things. It'll be okay.
Oh man. How many conversations have I had like on the phone with my mom complaining about life and work and business and being like, okay, well, is anyone going to die? Like, you're talking about social media, Kinsey. It's fine. Like nothing is. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Are you ready to easily create social media content that feels on brand and looks beautiful without breaking the bank or wasting your precious time? Our new Brand Vibe bundles are here, my friend. These digital bundles will give you everything you need to easily show up on social media with cohesive content that feels like your brand. You simply have to choose the bundle that best fits your brand's vibe, and you'll be on your way to posting with ease. Check them out at feelgoodsocial.com/brandvibebundles. Each of our differently branded bundles includes 80 plus customizable Canva social media templates, 6 Lightroom presets for easy one-click photo editing, 30 in-depth social post prompts, plus a guide to your brand vibe with a description of your vibe's personality, power words, and additional suggested color palettes, font pairings, and graphic elements. I know these bundles are exactly what you've been looking for to finally show up consistently and cohesively on Instagram for your brand without breaking the bank or wasting your precious time. Just head to feelgoodsocial.com/brandvibebundles and you'll find all the information there. All right, let's dive into today's episode. Oh, okay. So bring it back to like I geek out about messaging and marketing, sales and stuff. And so bringing it back to like your messaging and honing in, I'm totally the logical person too on the sales page where like, literally, I kind of want to know like what I get and how much it costs, right? So I'm like scrolling down to like, this is what you get. This is how much it costs. That's all I need to know to make a decision. You know what I mean? To like purchase this course or whatever. And I think there's similar people. I'm not sure if you're one of those people too, but
I'm going to read everything on the sales page literally 3 times and watch all the videos before I buy anything. And it's going to, I have to think about things for weeks. Yeah. And I know other people are not like that at all. They can pull the trigger and do it.
Well, but here's the thing. This is the perfect example because like everyone is different and the way that they make decisions is different, right? I personally, it's so funny because like I understand like the emotional side of things and I do connect like emotional storytelling. I promote storytelling, all that stuff. But like I'm not one of those people that like needs emotions to like make a purchase decision, but some people do, some people really, really value like social proof, right? Like the testimonials are really right. So you really need like this whole mix of things in order to be able to like serve everyone in their ability to make the purchase decision the best way. But it's hard for like, because we're all in our own heads. So it's hard to remember that everyone in the world is different, Oh man, lady. Okay, let's talk about systems. I'm very excited. Okay. Let's talk about ClickUp is like your, bread and butter when it comes to systems and stuff. What is ClickUp? Let's start there.
Yeah, sure. ClickUp is a project management tool. So I think people get hung up when they don't have what they consider projects. But what I like to say is a project management tool for a business owner is your digital to-do list. Literally everything you have to do, whether it's client related or internal business, that's where you're storing it all. We have so much going on up in our heads. I think it's great to take that list out of it and put it somewhere digitally where you don't have to worry about it. Like you're going to make the meeting. You're going to remember to do XYZ for your client because it's already there in front of your face every day. Yeah. So that's why I love ClickUp. I mean, there are many project management tools. I know Trello's popular, Asana's popular. I've used both of those, and ClickUp is the one I prefer because of some features that they have that others don't. But I understand it is overwhelming for someone to just jump in themselves and set up at times. So I feel like in systems in general, if there's a tool that works for you, great. Like, don't need to complicate things.
Yes. Thank you for giving us that permission, right? Because like, that was another thing that I kind of like in my first year of business, like had people pushing Trello is the tool, or, Asana is where it at and stuff. And I've had conversations with people in the Feel Good Social Club about this, where they're like, everyone is saying that like this tool is perfect and that tool is perfect. And I feel like I just get into this tool trying like a snowball. It's like this never ending like situation where I'm just trying all these tools. I'm not actually getting anywhere. Right. So tell us why you like ClickUp. Like, what are these features that you love about it?
I like the visual aspect of ClickUp for me, and that you can change it from like the list view to the board view that Trello has to the calendar view that I actually prefer. And they have many, many, many views, which is great. They have time tracking in it, which the others, at least back a while ago, I haven't checked in a while, didn't. You had to integrate another tool in. So I like it when it's in the tool and I don't have to like put all these integrations into it. So I've got a CRM, ClickUp, and I use Zaps to throw things around to Airtable or wherever else. And so to kind of move, jumping over here. But when you're thinking about systems in general for your business, what I like to do is literally build a process map, a visual map of like, how are your clients coming in? Where are they coming from? Then what happens? And then what happens after that? And then on the internal side of your business, what are you doing each time to make those things happen? And then align your tools with your process. And if you're realizing that your tool isn't helping you in that process, like get another tool. Or maybe you have too many tools and it's becoming overwhelming or expensive. Like let's get rid of that. So
I'm over here laughing and raising my hand, guys, because Alicia in the club, I hired her to be my CPA, and she's like, okay, Ken, and bookkeeper. She's like, Ken, can we like schedule a time to like look at all these tools because I'm paying for like duplicate things,
Yep,
you know?
yep.
So I love that process. I love that you give this actionable step of, okay, this is how you decide what tools like are going to match up and stuff like that. Like, because that just makes so much sense to my brain. So thank you for sharing that, lady.
Absolutely.
What other systems tips do you have for us?
That's the big one. That's the great one to start, because then you can go up a level to strategy and kind of think, where do I want to be in 5 years? And will this process work with that in 5 years? And will these tools handle the increase in revenue or the increase in clients? And then you can go down a level from this process map and say, you know, what are the processes actually this to step 1, step 2, step 3 behind that? And so you start thinking about SOPs and onboarding processes for employees and how you're going to delegate some of that stuff off your plate. What can you delegate? How do the tools help with that? So I think the process map's a great place to start, go up and down in your level.
You know that I geek out about a map, right?
Yeah.
I'm like visualizing this. I'm like, oh my gosh, like a map and down and up all the levels. And also, do you help people do this, or do you have a resource to help people do this? Because I feel like I need help with this still.
Yeah, that's part of what I do. Yeah, that's definitely step 1 in the strategy of working with somebody is I come in and do that to get a framework of where we're starting with. But Miro is an online tool where you can map all of this stuff out yourself. So Miro, Lucidchart, Visio, all of those do similar stuff.
Awesome.
But I like Miro the best. So that's a fun place to start with you. Okay. Yeah. Free online. Free. It's a free tool, Kenzie.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Dude, I like just, you know, I have like the opposite of money mindset issues sometimes where I have no problem spending money. I'm like, sign me up for this one. And also I'm a software hoarder, I would call myself. I think I need like a little Erin help with like a deep cleaning of my software closet and figuring out my systems and processes. So how does this all work into now you offering like your retainer OBM services and stuff like that?
Yeah. So that's where I'd start with any new onboarding is that type of, you know, basically business audit of what are you using behind the scenes, what are your processes? And that's kind of how we're going to define moving forward, what we're going to change about the business over the several months we're working together of what can we do some quick wins immediately to maybe help your client experience. And then long-term behind the scenes cleanup and processes and making sure that you're doing what you love to do and not doing like admin or project management if you hate that, or team management if you hate that. Like that's the stuff that I handle.
Okay. Yes, I know. I'm like this is why I love the Feel Good Social Club, because I'm like wanting to hire everyone inside of it. I'm already like, okay, putting Erin on the list for my OBM when that time comes, hopefully sooner rather than later, because that just sounds so nice. You know, you just feel like, I also thought of a Reels idea for you. And please forgive me if you have already created one like this, because I feel like sometimes I store away these ideas that I see on Instagram and then I bring them back up and people are like, yeah, that was my reel. But okay. Sticky notes and just like a computer covered with sticky notes and tasks and to-do projects. And then you take them off and it's like, you don't need those, like Erin.
I love that.
I don't know. I feel like it could work. I feel like, because that's what it feels like, right? Like I was laughing when you're like, one digital place where like your to-do list is. I think I was listening to a podcast episode from someone the other day where it was like, they are like, no, I'm a note taker, to-do lister. And I'm not even at that point. Like I feel pretty scatterbrained and unorganized in a lot of places, but at least I have my notes on my phone. So I can easily reach them and not misplace them. Right. Do you ever run into clients like that who like, it's
all the time
hassle?
But I will say that typically I can very quickly get them to see how much easier it is online. And that I usually have the planner people that are like, no, I'm going to write it down in my planner too. I don't care what you do in ClickUp, but I'm going to write it down. And usually by week 2 to 3 working together, they're already like, I actually just opened ClickUp when I normally write it in my planner and I could rearrange and see what was coming down the pipe for me. And it's so much easier, which I love. I mean, I understand the like note-taking process if you need to do that for a meeting, but like move all the to-dos immediately into the virtual space because you literally can't scale without it. You cannot scale without a project management tool. There's nowhere to delegate if you don't. You cannot pick up that notepad and push it through the computer.
Oh, I love that visual. So yeah. Okay. Another real idea, right? Something like
there you go.
But it's so right. Okay. So I'm remembering it wasn't a podcast episode. I was on the phone with my friend and she was walking through the grocery store and she's like, oh my gosh, I misplaced my grocery list. And I was like, girl, do you need to get off the phone? Like, is it on your phone? She's like, no, I wrote it on a paper. So it's probably like floating around my car somewhere. I'm like, oh my gosh, like just the ability to have a digital to-do list where you can move your tasks around based on priority, like brain dump first in a to-do list and then prioritize afterwards. And I brought it up when it came to grocery shopping because that's what we do. We like brain dump our groceries. Then I usually organize my grocery list in like the way I walk around the store.
I do too.
It's so freaking helpful. Like, and I know. I was like, this like is totally can be applied to business. Like, I don't know if you do this, but I go through my daily life being like, this is an analogy for work, but it's so helpful. So I'm glad that you brought that up, lady. So love the systems, organization, tips, all that stuff. Love the process map or anything like that. Like, do you have any other like big challenges that come up for people, especially people who you're just maybe starting to work with or who are just starting out and stuff?
Yeah. So I think the other big one is just automation in general. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize how much you can automate or they over automate, one of the two. But I feel like there's so many quick wins for people when, if you're doing something repetitively, just, pausing to ask yourself, like, is there a template I could create to make this faster? Or can I automate it where I don't have to touch it? And I think sometimes people get nervous about that because they feel like the client experience won't be as personal. But I will say that wouldn't you rather, you can customize it to feel personal, but wouldn't you rather be sure they get the information than not at all? Because that's not a great client experience if something drops through the cracks. So those are big things like using Zapier or Automate IO, or I think there's several other very similar tools to make sure things happen automatically, to drop things into ClickUp for you. For example, because I know people like examples, when I have somebody book through my CRM, a Zap automatically pre-populates a template I've created in ClickUp with all the tasks I would have to do for that client. So all of that work's done. I don't touch it. The due dates are pre-populated based on when they signed up. All the steps, all the to-dos are in there for me.
Yes. I'm so glad that you brought this up too, because it is something, it's those mundane tasks that like take you longer, like at the beginning, especially to, another big entrepreneurship lesson, time versus money and like, and just time management, like understanding that stuff, right? Cause like, it's like, okay, spend 1 hour, even 2 hours, 3 hours setting up this automation system, but it's going to into the future exponentially
save so much time.
Save you so much time. Exactly. That took a while for me to learn too. And there's still some automations that could completely be set up because also too, I think those mundane tasks, like they aid to the burnout, right? Because that's not the stuff that you love. And that's not the stuff that lights you up. And that's the stuff that just like grinds you away in your business, So it really helps with the sustainability. But my ears perked up when you said over automation. What's an example of that? What does that look like? Tell me, because I feel like I could I'm one of those 100-mile-an-hourers straight into the deep end of things. So tell me what this is.
I think that usually happens when people get really excited about automation and they start all of these triggers to happen, but they haven't really refined their process fully. And so until you have a process that you're 100% sure on, don't set up automation because who knows what's going to happen. But, it's more work for you to pause an automation when you realize something isn't working. It's sometimes better to do a couple things manually in there just to visually walk through, okay, now what's going to happen? I'm going to push send instead of having it automatically send because I want to make sure it looks perfect first. So usually it's a process. It's like having your process perfected before you automate certain parts is good.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And that might be an example of another time when someone would want to hire someone like you to help like get an outsider's perspective on streamlining systems and making sure everything looks good and stuff. Because I do feel like that's another thing that people have trouble investing money in sometimes because they're like, well, I can do this, but it's so much easier and ends up being better if you get an outsider's perspective who doesn't have all of the swirling to-dos and all of the knowledge inside your business to like help you understand, like, how can I make this the best it can be? Right. So
yeah, that outside perspective. And also like, I can probably do it faster than you can. I mean, when it comes down to it, like if you want to spend your time figuring this out, go for it. But in any field, the person who's doing it as an actual career, like they're going to be able to do it much faster, more efficiently, and really think through like how it's best to set up. Anything that you DIY, like you might have to at certain points in your business. I know I am still doing that in certain areas, but I know when I do that, it's taking me much longer. I'm probably not doing it right the first time, which means I had to keep going back and changing it. Whereas somebody with that expertise will be able to set it up right the first time quickly.
Yep. Yes. Valuing like time and effectiveness over money. Like that's something that I had to learn in the beginning. And now I'm like, woo, let's hire everyone. Because it's so helpful. Exactly. And I think long term, and it's hard to like trust that long term when you're like in the beginning, and it's hard to like measure the effects of the long term when you don't have like a lot of experience behind you to like show you that. But it's true, guys. It's true. Okay, Erin, I love chatting with you, lady, but we could probably talk forever. But I don't. Well, maybe another future podcast episode.
Yeah. We'll talk about Airtable next time.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But I have been asking all my Feel Good Social Clubbers. Erin's in the Feel Good Social Club. Very, very excited to have you in there, lady. But what have you been finding the most helpful, or what have you been enjoying the most in the club so far?
So first of all, I was so very impressed logging in the first time and seeing the whole layout. So first of all, it's all just so organized beautifully. I was a little overwhelmed at first because I was kind of expecting more like a Facebook group situation, and it is so much more than that. So first of all, that. But then all the little categories where you can ask for help or get feedback or just rant. I love all of that. And I'm going to just keep going on. I know you asked me for one, but
no, I love it, lady. Throw it at us.
And then everybody's little welcome page with the template you created for everybody, so we don't have to think about that. And then getting to know all the members through a like standard format is so nice. I have not like spent a lot of time in the templates, but I feel like that's going to be a big place that I'm going to go to. So
yeah,
so many great things.
Lady, thank you for sharing that, and I love that too, because here's the thing, like the templates are awesome and fun and helpful, but I hear that from a lot of people where they're like, I mean, I haven't even like, I kind of signed up because of the templates, but then I haven't even necessarily gotten into the templates too much, but there's all this other awesome stuff. And I'm so glad that you brought that up. And systems girl to systems girl, thank you for appreciating the setup of the club. Because exactly, like it was really important to me to not host the club in Facebook. One, I've had several people throughout the years, whether it's for the social map, my course being like, is the community in Facebook? Like I deleted Facebook, like I'm over Facebook, or just, I always feel overwhelmed, distracted. Like I can't find anything in Facebook groups and stuff. And it has felt too much for me. And I want it to be like one stop hub for like everything and stuff.
Yeah.
So
and you can do those sweet little email recaps you do on Friday where I can catch up without going in there and see everything that's happening.
Oh yeah. I know. I'm like, I hope my Feel Good Social Clubbers like hearing from me this much, because I just feel like you guys are my best friends. Like I'm seeing you guys doing, I'm like, oh guys, hey, how's it going? What's up? Like all week, it's like, okay, well, you're just gonna be my best friend now. So sorry.
Yep. That's what you get.
Yes, but thank you so much for coming on the show, Erin. I cannot wait to hire you. Whatever.
I cannot wait to hire you.
Yeah. But can you please tell everyone where they can connect with you, find out more about you, all that stuff, because I know they'll want to do that just like I have.
Yeah. Instagram is where I'm most active. So you can find me there at Luname Strategy. That's LUNAME. I was like, I'm going to spell this all wrong. We're going to link that below.
Yeah,
right?
we will. Okay. Yeah, we'll link it. No worries.
Or luname.com.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I can't wait to link it. I'm so excited to share you with my people, that you have been on the show, that you're in the club, all the things, all the love, lady. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How wonderful was Erin? You guys, I just love her so much. And she's like so helpful. I don't know if you could tell, I like cannot wait for the day that I start working with Erin. I really want to hire her as my OBM in the near future. Let's hope that we can make this happen, guys. But definitely connect with her because, you know, it's just so nice to have a friend who understands the digital clutter and understands how much help is needed when it comes to the back end stuff of businesses, right? So definitely connect with her. And if you did enjoy this episode, don't forget, share it to your Instagram stories. Make sure that you tag both of us because we would love to see it. We would love to reshare it and we would love to spread the love right back to you. Okay. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week and I will catch you next time I catch you. Thanks so much for listening, my friend. For show notes and a whole lot of other awesome freebies, visit feelgoodsocial.com. Simply go to feelgoodsocial.com for all the goods.